Grand evening, grand evening, grand evening. My name is Mystic Powers and I am here to bring you yet another one. So let's get right on into it. So collective, if you have been following me for a minute now, you know that when I first stepped into my spirituality, the deity that brought me into it was Lord Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction. Okay? And I did a lot of healing and I learned a lot from Shiva. Now, many people may have different perspectives on gods and goddesses. My perspective on gods and goddesses is just that they are all part of the big God, the Alpha and Omega, okay? They are energies representing a part of the big man upstairs, the Most High Divine. So when I talk about Lord Shiva, I view Lord Shiva as the destructive part of the Most High. But Lord Shiva doesn't only destroy, he brings rebirth. He destroys in order for things to be reborn. So when I channel his significant other, Miss Kali Ma, it came as a surprise to me that Miss Kali Ma has so many sides to her, especially in her angered state. When Kali Ma is not in her angered state, she is not known as Kali Ma. She is known as Parvati or Shiva Ha, because Shiva and it's Shiva Ha. But when she is in her angered state, she is known as Kali Ma. And in order to get Kali Ma to calm down, Shiva has to allow Kali Ma to trample all over him. Shiva, the god, has to allow the goddess to trample over him, which means he has to be underneath her feet in order to bring Parvati back out. So when you are dealing with Goddess Kali Ma, you are dealing with a deity who is strictly out for blood. If you could see on this picture here, she has skulls around her neck. She collecting heads, baby. She ain't taking no names. It ain't no, oh no, I'll come back for you later. It's I'm cutting your head off and it's being on my necklace. And the only way she can be stopped is by her mate allowing her to trample and dance all over him. That is the only way to stop her in her enraged state. So in order for me to be channeling Goddess Kali Ma, she is enraged. Okay? Because somebody then messed with a child who is a devotee of Goddess Kali Ma. And she don't play that. Dharmavati is coming out here. Dharmavati is known as the smoky one. The smoky one, a widow goddess representing despair, destruction, and the void in Tantric Hinduism. Her name refers to the smoke that remains after destruction, representing the pre-creation void and the period after everything has dissolved. She is the only goddess depicted as a widowed, symbolizing detachment and the transcendence of worldly attachments. So, collective. When you started your spiritual journey, you started your spiritual journey out of destruction. It was like you blew your own atmosphere up, set it on fire, burned it to ashes, and you arose out of the ashes anew. You embodied this energy. You detached from all worldly attachments. And you focused solely on the divine. This is not easy for people to do. It was not easy for me to do. But it was necessary because it caused you to ascend quicker than anyone could have or would have imagined you to be able to do. You detach from all your worldly possessions. That means you detach from friends, family, children even, pets, things that you owned, clothes, everything, money, everything. You detached from that. And you went on the inside to the spirit and asked, what is it that I'm here to do? Who am I? And you asked the divine to show you who the divine was. And the divine did just that. Arthra of Kalima. The Arthra of Kalima signifies achieving material prosperity and fulfillment through the guidance of the fierce goddess Kali, who clears the way for divine abundance by destroying what no longer serves you. It represents having the purpose, success, security, and means to thrive, often requiring the strength to make necessary changes and embrace transformation. This card encourages the inner scared masculine to emerge, bringing clarity and unwavering strength to pursue dreams and build a fulfilled life. So, you stepped, when you arose from the ashes, from you self-destructing yourself and detaching from all worldly things. You arose from the ashes and you stepped directly into your masculine energy. And you was like, anybody who had anything to do with hurting me in any which way, shape, or form, anybody who wished me any hurt, harm, or danger in any which way, shape, or form, you transmuted all of that energy. You sent it to the divine with light and love, and you called righteous judgment on these people, and you did it with all of your heart and your soul, because you don't give a what happened to these people no more. Because you detached from the feelings that you had with these karmic energies. That's that destructive energy that came out of you. See, they underestimated the destructive energy you have in you. That was a mistake. Bravaartini. Some of these names are so hard to pronounce, you guys. Please forgive me. You may look them up and try to pronounce them yourself. Okay? This is a form of the Hindu goddess Kali Ma, meaning she who liberates devotees from the sea of existence. As a manifestation of Kali, Bravaartini embodies both fierce power and compassionate material tenderness, offering spiritual liberation, protection, and strength to her devotees. Her name signifies her power to guide devotees across the cycle of birth and death and suffering, leading them to spiritual freedom. Because see, this goddess saw the pain and suffering you endured, yet you still was devoted to your faith. You held on to your faith with everything you had, no matter what. It could nobody tear your faith away from you. If you didn't have anything, not a penny to your name, you couldn't tell nobody you didn't have faith. You had so much faith. Man, I don't even know. It's not even a word for how much faith you had. Unbelievable faith. So because you had unbelievable faith in the divine, Goddess Kali Ma stepped in and said, you will not treat a devotee of the divine this way. She is the one that's protecting you and leading you from death and spiritual suffering into spiritual freedom, which you now have in your hands. And can't nobody take that away from you. This goddess right here is such a powerful energy. It can be a little bit overwhelming if you've never worked with this type of energy. This will be the very, very first time I will say confidently, Kali Ma chose me to work with me this week. And I have been enjoying her energy so much. Her energy can bring you closer to the divine like no other. And this is why these people are having trouble understanding, okay? The divine has many qualities, many facets, many traits about it. Okay? You can't apply one name to the great divine. You can't even apply a face, but what we can do is apply these energies, these deities, as being a part of the great divine. And when the great divine shows you these different parts coming together, it is amazing. I can't tell you how it feels. I can only guide you and hope that you will be able to have an encounter just like me. So that was the first part of this reading. I will be back with part number 2 in a minute. See you then.